GIGPO Executive Director Joseph Ludovici is a 25-year veteran of the Navy and was also the commanding officer on Guam for the Navy's PWC, now known as NAVFAC, from 2000 to 2003. So he's no stranger to the island's inadequate infrastructure and the challenges it poses to the military buildup. Japan has pledged to pay $740 million to improve Guam's infrastructure. Ludovici says this will be done through some sort of loan to the government of Guam through some form of SPE or special purpose entity.
How will that affect local ratepayers?
It should not affect the local ratepayers if the system has, and this is CCU, and I don't want to get too far ahead of Mr. Sanchez of the water authorities or what the Navy's finance guys are working with GPA, but if there's an additional, conceptually here, if there's additional cost for the loan from Japan to support the marine relocation to provide the service to the military, you would think the military would repay those loans or provide that service, because if it's the current rate is this for the existing users and now we add this cost to support the military, you would think the military customers would pay that additional cost. But I'm just talking about in concepts, and I'm not in those specific financial discussions.
While they are still finalizing a lot of the details, Ludovici says they have agreed upon what the money will pay for.
We have an agreement in principle on what the scope of the $740 million would cover in terms of the power system, the combustion turbines and the transmission lines, the wastewater, the Northern District plant and the Hagåtña plant and some transmission lines, and the water system. So
Ludovici hopes to break ground on some of these projects over the next 12 months. In fact, in the next month or month and a half, he says the Japanese government will send its budget to the Ministry of Finance. This budget should include at least some of the promised funding for Guam. Infrastructure isn't the only hurdle for Ludovici. He's also going to have to deal with the lawsuit filed against DoD for selecting Route 15 in Paugat as a firing range complex. Yesterday, he told lawmakers that it's difficult to get funding from Congress without having finalized where the Marines will do their training.
When we did our budget for 11, they're saying, we're not sure you're going to be able to execute that project for a number of reasons. The utility capacity may not allow to bring the workers. You don't have that land yet, so what if you can't get the land for training? Are we still going to move the Marines there? A number of issues that they're looking at. So because of the lawsuit, I don't predict what the impact, because that wasn't the only reason why some of the concerns that were causing them to withhold money.
One thing that can withhold money and construction projects is the unsigned programmatic agreement.
What is an unsigned programmatic agreement? Is that slowing or delaying any construction?
Yeah, it will. I think we will have to hold off until we resolve that on some construction because of the way, I'm not a lawyer, I don't understand the full American Council for the National Historic Preservation Act, but I believe there are some limitations of what you can do until you complete that process, either programmatic or you complete the consultations as a part of the process. So yes, there will be an impact from that.